Hi everyone! I have two envelope journals I would like to share with you today. I have a smaller one and a larger one. I'll have to zoom out for the larger one, so we'll just start with the smaller one first. For both of these I used a padded envelope, so these are a little bit puffy because the envelopes have bubble wrap on the inside. The envelopes are both covered in book pages and napkins with a feather design and some a kitchen roll from blotting off ink sprays. Sometimes when I get nice colors on them, I let the pieces dry and use them for collaging. I glued some fabric to the spine. This used to be a scarf. And this was actually an afterthought because I had pierced the holes already and noticed that they were off center. So I had to cover them up and pierce them again. But that's okay, it looks nice actually that way. I used a double strand of wax thread and a chain stitch to stitch the signature. It's a single signature. I used a piece of bias tape for the closure. I washed it to fray the edges and to get rid of the fold. And I stitched the piece to the cover with the sewing machine. I put some eyelets, I hope you can see that, some eyelets for the buttonholes so they wouldn't like tear out after a while, and secured the button with cotton cord and just wraps around like that. It has a little give so the book can still expand if you like put lots of things in them. So let's look inside what's in there. The inside spine has a piece of fabric as well. I also thought it might kind of make it more sturdy because the fabric doesn't tear that easily. There is a see-through pocket page with a large tag. I put some rub-ons in various places in this journal. There's a map. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a very faint tone-on-tone image of a feather that I stamped just to add a little bit of interest. And I stitched some fabric strips and trims. That's the same scarf with the tassels on the hem. It has some crochet trim and sheet music, some pattern paper, like design paper. I tacked some flowers into some of the fabric tabs that I stitched on. They can be taken out. The wire stems are very bendy, so this can just be like it can be removed if it should get in the way. This piece came from a large roll of colored papers that I had sitting around forever, and this is actually sun bleached. This piece was somehow exposed, like it was somehow on the very outside, but that was covered, and I think it kind of turned out really cool. You could never really make that if you wanted. This piece of printed vellum was a page in a brochure. It was like an ad pamphlet for something. So I thought that looked kind of cool, and it is actually about printing and copying and die cutting and foiling. There's it kind of matches the theme. Here's an envelope with a window that has some leaves in them, some die cut leaves. I cut them from scraps of the pattern papers I used, and I glued a bird image inside the window. There are some leaf stamps that I also stamped tone on tone. These are foam stamps that I made with the same leaf dies. That's the Tim Holtz Tattered Leaves die. There is some textured glassine. I've had that in my stash forever as well. I think I also have it in yellow and orange. There's some fabric leaves on here, some more crochet trim, and a little charm on the paperclip. That paperclip holds a tag that says Daydream, Tagtraum in German. There's a piece of cloud vellum, another little tag in the side pocket, and a butterfly rub on. There's some more of that tassel scarf. There's a pattern paper tag in here and a little origami envelope. I really like the way of folding this. You could write a message on the whole sheet and then just fold it up into an envelope and seal it, and nobody would be able to have a peek. Kind of like that. Here's another leaf. This is some gorgeous poisonous green paper with also some faint leaf stamping. This was a negative I had left over from die cutting some wildflowers. I turned that into a pocket insert. I backed it with a page from an encyclopedia and added a piece of a calendar. There is a fabric flower with dragonfly bread. Can you see that there? Really like these dragonflies. Oh, there's a little key on the fabric tab. Some more sheet music. A tiny little clear pocket page with a mini postcard. This could be colored. Some more maps. Some orange wax paper. Really like this color. It's really pretty. Then the butterfly pages. These were also from an encyclopedia. And I glued two of them back to back because I wanted the butterfly images on both sides. There's another little postcard with fish on them this time. This is a page from an old, like, I don't know, field guide, would you say? It's like a book about trees and what their leaves look like and what their flowers look like and their seeds look like. Actually, this is the cover they were in. It was very, very damaged on the spine. It totally fell apart. So I reinforced that with some fabric, and I'm gonna use that to make another journal with. There's some more crochet trim that actually matches this green and the green dots on this pattern paper. Here's another design paper tag and another one of these origami envelopes. There's a leaf hiding in here. I really like these papers. This is what I have left when I have been jelly printing. I roll the paint off my brayer on just this plain yellowish copy paper that's really inexpensive. And if I don't overdo it, I end up with really nice layered colors and some texture that I can use to make envelopes and pages with. There's another piece of leftover from that. And another offcut from a calendar. These, this is a list of weekdays and the dates that go with them, but they are out of date. So if you actually wanted to use this for keeping track, you might have to cross out the date and write the right one next to it. I did a little bit of stenciling on some of the pages, just with matching ink colors, so it would just give a little bit of interest. There's another little folded envelope with the feather images. Here's a rosebud. This is the other side of the envelope pocket page that has just 2 pieces of paper scraps in them. There's the other side of that printed vellum and a bit more of that sun bleached colored paper. There's a pom-pom trim with tiny little pom-poms. I really like these. And another daydream tag and a leaf. And there's the back of the big clear pocket page with another tag and some more leaves. These are fabric leaves. And then of course there's the big pocket from the actual envelope that can be used to keep nice things. And it just closes like that. It's very compact, very sturdy, this one. Oh, I forgot to measure. This measures 5.5 inches when folded by 8. So that was the smaller one. Now let's bring in the larger one. I think I have to sorry, wrong direction. Zoom out a little bit. You can see that. Right, this one is done in practically the same way. I used book paper and feather napkins and some inked kitchen roll. I glued some fabric on the spine, even though I didn't mess up the holes this time. But I kind of liked the look on the smaller one, so I just went with that. And it has a leaf print on the fabric. I thought that went kind of well with the feathers as well. The closure is the same as well. It's the bias tape that I washed and stitched on. The button has some eyelet reinforcement as well. And this is, yes, you can see that. This is the first page. This is a piece of protecting paper that I used when I was working in my art journal. I always put large sheets of paper between my pages. And then they come out looking like this. This is actually 2 layers that I glued back to back because the piece was really quite big. And also very thin paper that had print on the back that I didn't want, so I doubled it up to make it a bit stronger and to get rid of the print that I didn't want. I have quite a stack of these that I just save to make journal pages with them, because I think they are just really awesome and you totally could not get this look if you wanted it. Well, I guess you could, but I couldn't. Sometimes I feel like I mostly craft just for these byproducts, actually. Well, that's not true, but I just love the result sometimes that I get when I don't try for something. For this one, I wanted to do some stitching on the sides as well, but then I found a book that had these really nice borders at the top and bottom of the page. So I cut some of them out, and then I found some like 30 or 40-year-old travel brochures that also had these kind of nice little ornamental designs. They're actually a little bit shiny. So I cut out a lot of these and just glued these in instead of the stitching. Like, they kind of serve the same purpose, they just add a little bit of interest, and it's just a little bit different. This time I actually pierced holes through some of the pages to tuck some flowers in, and I added some charms. This is a stenciled page that I did, and there's another one of these nice borders from one of the brochures. That's so pretty. This is a calendar page. I thought the background color matched the fabric that I have there and the feathers really well. That's kind of mostly why I chose this one. This was also one of those travel brochure borders, and I turned that into a pocket. That's a piece from a calendar. That's kind of an inspirational saying or quote on it. That's a piece of jelly printing. I was really happy because the corner rounder on my envelope punch board actually has a very, very similar curve to the curve on the jelly plate. So that kind of makes it nice. This is a page from an old calendar or planner that's from '98. I like using these a lot. It's just kind of for fun, you know. This is another piece of the overspray paper that has a ornament that I fussy cut. Like, the book with the borders, that were actually the page numbers, so I took some of them out. There's some crochet trim on some of the page edges. There's some more of the ornament borders, some more stenciling, some plain writing paper, some more calendar pages. There's another one of those borders, and another page number. There's a little pocket with another origami envelope and a flower image. Some sheet music. I cut out this corner piece, also from one of those brochures. That's a scrap piece of a flower calendar, and this is a page from one of my old nature guidebooks. There are lots of these in there. I actually don't feel bad about taking these out at all. Sometimes I get a little bit like, oh, but I want to keep this and I want to keep that and I want to use them all myself, but there is just so many of them, I can't use them all myself. And really just adding them so someone else can find them pretty and enjoy them and take notes on the back and write something or glue a photo to it, I think that's just nice. There is another one of the fussy cut ornamental swirly things. I found this page, like this piece of paper, in one of my folders just like that, so I just left it that way. There's a pretty calendar page with some more pom-poms on them. This is an envelope page that has a beautiful lake image and another scrap of paper. And I really just like how this looks. I really couldn't make anything like this if I wanted it to look like that. It kind of, this sort of thing just happens and it makes me happy. There's another corner tuck spot. This is another one of the leftover, like inking and protecting my Surface pages. There's another piece of flower image from a book and just a offcut piece from the calendar page. There's some music paper, some more stenciling and crochet trim. There's the other side of that calendar piece. There's a feather picture and another one from the book. That really didn't like coming out of this book that I took it out of because it's glued and stapled, so I kind of had to put little washi band-aids on the tears. There's another one of those brochure borders and another calendar page. Map. Another piece of that calendar. I like just leaving this like this. I could have trimmed it, but I thought it adds a little bit of interest. It's a nice border. That's the center, and that's page 18 and 19. Actually, it's not, but I just thought that was fun. There is an orange rose and a hand charm that says handmade. There's a postcard and a piece of calendar you could write on. I always like to have just spare pieces of paper in my personal journal, because when I want to like make a note of something or just give someone like some info on something, like chatting with someone and say, let me just write that down for you. I like having a spare piece of paper that I can just give to them. I'm kind of old-fashioned in that way. Most people would just take out their phones and write themselves a message or text someone. But I kind of like giving someone a piece of paper that I wrote a note on. There is that other side of the envelope with the window. I glued a big letter in that, just kind of for fun. There's another picture from that plant book. I love this picture. This is of that. I'm sure you have seen this somewhere on some social media site before. This lake that is just full of lotus flowers. That must be really pretty to look at if you're like in real life. You're there. There's another pocket with a flower image and another jelly print with some hearts on it. There's another little origami envelope. I thought the pattern on this actually went really well with some of the borders, some of those ornament borders, and there's a little image with some cherry blossoms. Another piece of crochet trim, a fabric leaf with a key charm, cutting all of these borders kind of it took a while. It was really a labor of love because I had to hand cut them all. I couldn't run them through my paper trimmer because some of them were just too narrow, and I need new blades, and it would have ruined them, so I had to cut them all by hand with the ruler and the craft knife or with the scissors. So that took a while, but I really like how it turned out, and I still have lots of these page numbers left, so I can make some more journals with page numbers in them. There's another flower image. I like that these are blank on the back, so you have some space to write the secret note that is hidden, or you could make a drawing on it or sketch something. There's a flower charm that always gets caught on it. And there's the back page. This of course has the big pocket as well. I think I'm gonna find something to put in that as well. I think these would make nice traveling journals because they are quite compact and sturdy. The covers have been sealed with Mod Podge or matte medium, so they are kind of sort of water repellent, or at least they won't get soaked immediately. And they have quite a bit of room at the top and bottom for things to stick out. They have room to expand because there is still some ribbon to close this with, even if it was just this long, so this could get bulky like this. This one measures, I always forget about that, 7 inches wide by 9 3/4 tall. And yeah, that was it. Those are my envelope journals. I am very fond of them. I think I will have a hard time putting them on my market table next weekend, but it's all good, and if someone else wants them and can enjoy them, that's great. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you will have a very nice day. Bye.